So I have built enablement programs for the last 8 years from the ground up. And it has been 5 or 6 different industries. I have dealt with CROs, VPs of sales, you name the title, I have had to influence them. I didn't have something like this when I started. It was me, trial and error. And over the years, I've done a few things. And the reason I'll have all of these up there is because I've been sitting where some of you are. You may be at your company for the first time. You may be an old hat at this. But regardless, I've been there, I've talked to people like that, and I purposely left my place because I wanted to go help develop people in a bigger sense. And so I founded Enable Up. And that's where I have really honed in on the different types of people and how you can influence them. It is not moving. There we go. According to Harvard Business Review, the #1 criteria for advancement and promotion is the ability to communicate effectively. So you have had amazing speakers come up here and tell you how to do enablement. You have got onboarding skills. You are being told how to coach. You can build the best program ever. But if you cannot communicate in a way that connects with your stakeholders, you're dead in the water. So yesterday, Brandon actually asked the question, and I wrote this down. You said, how well is your relationship with your stakeholders? I'm going to give you tools that you literally can leave here today with to help not only you at your job, but I promise you with your family. I want to ask you, do these conversations sound familiar? You have done all the metric planning. You are ready for that conversation with your sales leader. You've got it. You've got the charts. It's beautiful. You have it all. And he or she says, it's good. Just tell me the bottom line. And you are heartbroken because you have spent hours putting together these charts. Raise your hand if you have been there. Yes. Or you've got a solve. You've already gone through all the details. You want to go to RevOps. You want to go to, you name the CFO. And they have question after question after question for you. And in your head you're thinking, I already know what to do. Just let me do this. Okay. That's another one. And this one's my favorite. I know you all can pick this sales leader out in your head right now, or even the sales rep. You have had an amazing meeting. There are action items to take away. And then the next time you see that sales leader, they have either one, done nothing, or forgotten everything that you talked about. Yes. Okay. You are going to walk away from this in a few minutes knowing that's it, that's why. And you're going to have some tools that will help you you can't change the people, but it will help how you interact with them. So we're first going to start with you. Self-awareness is the key. I'm going to do a little test in here. I'm going to ask you some questions. And if this sounds like you, yes, I'm going to make you stand up because 1, you're full and you're sleepy, and 2, it will re-get your brain going again. So you're standing outside these elevators. You've pushed the button, and you're just like, please don't let anybody be on that elevator. I just don't want to talk. And then you walk into the elevator, and you're looking down. Stand up if that is you. Okay. So these are your more reserved people. All right, thank you. Same elevator. You're one of 2 people. 1, you cannot wait. Oh my gosh, there might be a new friend. Maybe there is somebody in there that I can talk to. Maybe I am just so going crazy. I haven't spoken to a person. I'm sitting at home all day working and I just need to talk to somebody. Or, okay, somebody might be in there and I'll say hi. I don't mind it. I'll talk to them. Stand up if that is you. All right, there's a lot of outgoing people in here. Awesome. Okay. New scenario. You're going on vacation, but you cannot do anything until you have decided who's taking the dog out. Is your neighbor going to take your trash out? Do you have the list made? Do you know is there Wi-Fi at your hotel because you know you've got to do work? Stand up if that is you. All right, these are your task-oriented people. They need to make sure things are done. Same vacation, you don't care if there is Wi-Fi, you just care who you're going with and the experiences you're going to have. Stand up if that's you. You may pack the right things or not. Uh-oh, did I do that? FYI, flexibility is my word of the year. Okay. So those are your people. So some of you stood up because you were more reserved for the elevator. You don't want to talk to anybody. And maybe you were a task person. Some of you are more people and less reserved. What I'm going to show you today is that people are all different. Every one of you are different in here, but you're predictably different. And so are your stakeholders. So is your husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, best friend too, promise you. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to tell you about the 4 types of people. And as I do this, I want you to think of that person at work you've got to influence. Who is this that we're talking about? The first one is a D. That comes from DISC, Maxwell DISC. D. This person is a driven human being. They seek control, sometimes at all costs. They love change. And honestly, this is the person that comes into your team and says, okay, scrap everything that we're doing. We're going to do this now, and everybody just follow me. And they may leave people in their wake. They don't know that they're doing it, but they do. They love loyalty, but they are very comfortable with confrontation. Their greatest fear is being taken advantage of. That is why they seek that control. That is why they do not let you really just have at it. Only 3% of the population is this. You. Raise your hand if you see this person right now. You can visualize this person. Okay. I'm going to give you tips on how to communicate with this person and how not to. Now, the D, here are strengths. Everyone has strengths. This person is able to motivate others. They are positive, persistent. They never stop. I mean, these are often your founders of companies at times. They are your C-level. It could be some of you in here, honestly. I'm not going to read all of these, but I want you to know every strength overused becomes a weakness. So in the next slide, you're going to go, oh, that's why. So here they are. And I didn't proofread my slide before I sent it over, so that's driving me crazy. Can you pick, so does anybody have to talk to this person often? Yes. What you're going to do here is now as you go into your next conversation with this person, you're going to know this is why they do what they do. It's not because they just want to. This is how they are driven. Now, the I, this one, always active, talking, sometimes won't let you get a word in. They just are all about the relationship. And everybody wants to be around them. They're fun. Their greatest fear is rejection, loss of approval. So oftentimes when they feel that they are about to lose that approval, they go overboard and talk even more. This is about 11% of the population. Strengths, friendly. They inspire others. I bet you can picture that salesperson right now, can't you? They are always the life of the party, charming, likable, very social and persuasive, full of ideas. They are going to come into your meetings and they're going to want to talk, and they're going to want to talk about all of their ideas. Let them. You don't have to take all their ideas, but let them know you have heard them, and then you will win them over. The obstacles with the I, doesn't follow through, can be forgetful, doesn't listen, needs the spotlight. And for those that are, you'll see yourself in a minute, it can drive you crazy. The S, they're your loyal team player. They are compassionate, a good listener, very easygoing and agreeable. Their greatest fear is loss of security and confrontation. Guess what happens when this person is talking to a D who loves confrontation? That's why you might feel yourself get all inside if you happen to start figuring out you're the S. This is the majority of our population, 69%. Here are the strengths. Team player, very stable, steady, routine-oriented, great listener, close friendships, but they like a tight circle of friends. They're not going to be like the I who has acquaintances all over the room or the world. Obstacles, though, can be too laid back, resist change. Again, guess what happens when they go up against a D in a conversation who loves change and wants to do 52 card pickup to get results? This person you need to be aware of in meetings. They're not going to share how they feel in a meeting. They may disagree and keep that inside and then become passive aggressive. I know that there are ways to get them to open up, but I'm just giving you right now the tools of understanding who these people are. Now, a C. This person likes logic, likes facts. They love to have everything in order. They love their processes. I watched a lot of you over the last day. When someone talked about processes, I could see nodding heads. You love it. You love that process and getting everything in order, and you are very accurate, detail-oriented. Your greatest fear is criticism. Now, I want to make everyone understand who is not a C or doesn't relate to this. This does not mean they think that they are better and don't need to be criticized. It is because they have done their homework. They are so thorough that to be criticized means they have failed. And it is a true fear. Doesn't mean you shouldn't criticize, but that is the reasoning. And this is about 17% of the population. Their strengths. I am a C, by the way. Analytical. Genius prone. Doesn't mean we are all geniuses, but we are prone. Orderly and organized, deep thinker, serious, finishes what they start. Again, strengths overused become weaknesses. A C can start to want all the data and they can't make a decision. So remember when I talked to you a few minutes ago about you already know what you want to do, but someone's got all these questions they want to ask because they want more data. They want more data. They avoid risks and they may not see the big picture because they get too focused, especially in high stress situations, on the details. Now, we were going to do that one. We are going to skip that. Wait a minute. What happened to I had communication things in here on what to do and what not to do. How do I go back here? Well, this is what happens when flexibility happens. I don't know what happened to this. Jack, did I send you the wrong one? So what I'm going to do here is we're going to go with the flow. When you're talking with a D, do not be detail-oriented. Get to the big picture. Do not bore them with details. They are driven crazy by way too much talking, way too much overanalyzing. Oh my goodness.
Press that button again.
The back button? And now green, okay. The I. When they come to your meetings, let them talk. Social time is so incredibly important for them. You may have an agenda. You may think, I already know what I'm going to do. We do not have time for this. Oh my gosh, you're talking so much. Yes, you've got to reel them in, but social time is important, and that's how you're going to win them over. So let them know that their ideas are important. that you appreciate them, and here is a big hint for you, those of you especially who are C's. Follow up with an email stating what you agreed on in the meeting. That way, they just need it. So I used to make the mistake of going, you're a grown-up. You can remember what we talked about in this meeting. Well, I'm the one that's still got to go and enable them. I'm the one that still has to follow through. So it just made it easier for me, for people to follow up with that email on what are their action steps. Thank y'all for being patient with me in this. An S. They need friendliness. They need smiles. Even if you're not feeling it, if you're a D, if you are seeing yourself as more that driven person or that C, very analytical person, and you have tasks that you need to get done, that S needs to see everything is okay. They want to see you smile even though you're not feeling it. Let them know what they're doing well. They like to be motivated with just, again, friendliness. Make them feel included. Doesn't mean you have to baby them, but if you are trying to influence, remember, you're trying to connect with these people. And if you are a C, what you don't want to do with them, you want to come prepared, do your homework. Don't come to a meeting with a C and wing it. If you're trying to influence them, do your homework. Come prepared. Respect the fact that they may have a lot of questions for you. Understand, it is okay to answer all these questions. It doesn't mean that you're not going to get what you are looking for in this meeting, but remember, you are trying to connect with this person. Now, here we were going to do a bingo. I want you to look around here at any of these, and do you see yourself? Are any of these phrases things that you would say to yourself? And pick out a few that you think might speak to you. Now, do you start to see where you might be? All that I explained to you, do you have a feeling of where you possibly could be in the D, the I, the S, and the C? And are some of these sayings, and I'm going to show you the answers in a minute, but are some of these sayings speaking to you? Raise your hand if you feel like you are more of a D, a driven person. Okay? Raise your hand if you feel like you're more of an I. And this is not scientific. You haven't taken an assessment. This is just your... Okay. An S. And a C. Awesome. So what I want you to get, and I'm going to show you the answers to these in just a minute, and then you can think, okay, I really am. This is speaking to me. I want you to understand how you can go into a meeting and understand yourself. And now you don't have to go and wonder, why is that family member driving me crazy? This is why my wife does this. This is why my husband does that. Or the person you're trying to influence at work. If you understand yourself and you go into your meeting on Monday, you are going to be taking the first step to influencing in a deeper way, connecting with them. You have a program you want to roll out. Understand how to speak to that person. Okay, here are the answers to this. Did this align with some of your thoughts on where you thought you would fall? Now this is just the first step. This is not the end all. If you happen to be interested in learning more about your own style or more about what your team is like, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. Send me a message. I am happy to talk to you more about it. I am sad that the slides that I wanted to show you aren't there, but I gave you the information. So this is modeling flexibility. Any questions or thoughts or ahas? That's what I want to hear from you. Do you have an aha about your own personality or something that was going on at work? Yes?
I feel like I'm a mix of all of them. When we initially went through it, I was like, okay, D for sure. But as you went through, I see myself in each.
I'm glad you brought that up. No one fits into one box. We all have all of these in us. It's just some are going to be higher than others. It also is dependent on how you're looking at it. Are you looking at it strictly from a work life or home? I was working with one woman who is straight D at work, but at home she is all S. So yes, it is all going to depend. And it's going to depend on the season in your life too. Yeah?
Do you have tips for going into a meeting or meeting with someone and determining who they are?
Think about those traits that you saw. And if you're seeing someone who is definitely not afraid of conflict, they're going straight at it. That really the only person, the only one that is not afraid of conflict up there is the D. Everybody else is going to talk. You know, a C is going to come back and say, no, I disagree with you. But that, I think, is the telltale sign. An I, you can pick them out when you're going into a meeting because they just won't stay on topic. We love our I's. We need our I's because without them, oh my gosh, can you imagine a world of D's and C's? I mean, it would be awful. It would be a sad day. And I say that as a C. An S, watch for your S's because I feel like those are the ones that can, you know the term quiet quitting that's going around? They are very likely to quiet quit because, like I told you before, they're not going to speak up if they completely disagree with something. Doesn't mean they agree with you, but they will go back and they might not, they're not doing it to be mean, it's just their personality is, I'm not comfortable with conflict. So in your one-on-ones with those people, really dig in. How do you really feel? What is going on? With the C's, if you are a C or a D and you're feeling like you're very task-oriented, those people are going to be so focused on the tasks that if you're wanting, and you'll be able to pick those out because they're just very numbers, figures oriented, speak to them that way. Don't try to impose the way your style is on them and think that, well, this is just me. Remember, you are trying to influence. You are trying to bring them along and build up a team. Does that help? Does that answer your question? Yes, sir.
What activities do you recommend for sellers to help them read the room with a DISC model or insights model?
That is a great question. And one thing I did want to bring up, I know all of you have heard that, we want to mirror people. Well, when you do that, it's very manipulative. You're just trying to change how you act to get what you want. With the DISC model, you're seriously trying to figure out what does this person respond to? What do they need? It is a more selfless way. So with a seller, honestly, I can help with that because we have a sales profile that even tells you what you are strong with and some of the challenges you might have. But it really is to go in there and not mirror. That's what I tell people. Get that mirror someone out of your head because it's ingenuine. Look and see what are those traits that you're seeing. What do they need? If their fear, you will think about their greatest fear. So if you're a salesperson, if you're trying to coach your team and they figure out that I, and they're talking to a buyer that's an I, their biggest fear is fear of rejection. Lack of approval. You want them to have that friendly attitude. C, fear of being criticized. Don't come in and say, hey, the program you're running is awful. You need to buy our product. That is not going to speak to a C. And those D drivers, the driver who is afraid of being taken advantage of, they don't want to be sold. That is what shuts them down, is they feel like they are being taken advantage of. Yes?
So just to that question, we've done DISC insights, a number of these Myers-Briggs, Jungian psychology programs, and we were struggling with adoption of our sales process. And it wasn't until we kind of had the aha of we need to start with personalities, we need to start with connecting and adapting to people, the reverse of the golden rule. It's not, you don't sell people like you want to be sold to. You sell people the way they want to be sold to. And that's the principle. And so we found a massive uptake in our productivity from a sales process standpoint when people started taking our sales process and adapting it through the rubric of how should I connect to somebody? And it doesn't just stop there. It goes right back to the world piece or whatever your model is. If you start with that way of how can I connect with that person, it makes a difference all the way around in how you do those things. So if you're struggling with those pieces, I encourage you to implement something like this.
Amen. I see one question down here. It said, where did disc come from? How was it developed? Actually, the disc came from in 1923, and it's been developed. There's like 50 companies that sell disc. I personally am a consultant for Maxwell Disc because it focuses on leadership, not just on what is your personality like. But it's been developed like back in ancient times. You had Hippocrates and then another man, I can't pronounce his name, and they talked about the body being part of the different fluids, you know, bile and choleric and all of the other things. And so this has been happening with the different styles for centuries. And then Carl Jung even perfected it with his own style. So this is not new. The Maxwell disc obviously is a little bit newer because it's only been alive as long as John Maxwell has. And then where did I get those percentages from? The John Maxwell, this particular one. And this is based on if the entire population took it. It is the estimate. I am 4 minutes early, and it is always better to be early than run over, so I'm gonna stop. And I just thank y'all all so much. I hope that you were able to walk out of here and have some ahas about your family and your meetings next week.